In 1941, the United States had the world's 19th largest army, smaller than Romania's. But within months, it became the most powerful military force the planet had ever seen. How? Because America knew how to build. Factories that once made cars began producing tanks. Shipyards that built cargo vessels now produced aircraft carriers faster than anyone believed possible. The auto plants of Detroit became known as the arsenal of democracy. By 1944, America was producing one plane every 5 minutes, one tank every 30 minutes, and one Liberty ship every 3 days. The numbers were staggering, but behind those numbers were people. Ordinary citizens. Housewives, farmers, students, now wearing helmets and coveralls. Rosie the Riveter became a symbol of a nation's determination. Women worked 12-hour shifts beside roaring machines, their hands shaping the metal that would save the world. Every bolt, every bullet, every plane wing built in those factories carried something invisible, the heartbeat of a nation that refused to lose. America's greatest weapon wasn't a machine. It was belief. When young Americans crossed the Atlantic or Pacific, they weren't fighting for conquest. They fought for something abstract, yet powerful: freedom. A farm boy from Kansas, a steel worker from Pittsburgh, a teacher from Boston, none had dreamed of war. But they believed in something larger than themselves. They fought not to take, but to protect. Not for empire, but for liberty. The German soldier fought for orders. The Japanese soldier fought for the emperor. The American soldier fought for home, for a dream, a promise, an idea. And that made all the difference. When America entered the war, its army was inexperienced. Many soldiers had never fired a rifle before joining. But the United States learned fast, faster than anyone. Military bases across the country transformed overnight into massive training grounds. Generals like George Marshall and Dwight Eisenhower designed systems that turned raw recruits into elite soldiers within months. Meanwhile, science and innovation became secret weapons. The Manhattan Project, radar technology, improved aircraft engines, amphibious landing crafts, all products of relentless creativity. From the skies came the P-51 Mustang, a sleek, long-range fighter that ruled the air. From the oceans came the Essex-class carriers, mobile airfields that brought destruction to the enemy's doorstep. From the labs came penicillin, saving thousands of wounded soldiers who once would have died from infection. It wasn't just strength, it was smart strength. In the muddy fields of Europe and the steaming jungles of the Pacific, American soldiers formed bonds that defied fear. They were boys who became brothers. Men who laughed through exhaustion, who shared the last sip of water, who promised to right each other's families if one didn't make it home. From the beaches of Normandy to the ruins of Berlin, from the coral atolls of the Pacific to the volcanic mountains of Iwo Jima, they carried courage like a torch in the darkness. Sergeant John Basil I held his ground at Guadalcanal with a machine gun, firing until the barrel melted. Audie Murphy stood atop a burning tank destroyer in France, single-handedly holding off a German attack. Thousands more, nameless, faceless, fought with the same fire. They didn't fight for glory. They fought because the man next to them depended on it. And that was America's secret power. America's factories became battlefields of their own. While soldiers fought in Europe, millions of workers fought on assembly lines back home. They were the invisible army, men and women who didn't wear uniforms but carried the war on their shoulders. By 1943, American industry was producing twice as many war materials as Germany and Japan combined. This sheer power of production overwhelmed the Axis. For every tank Germany built, America built 5. For every plane Japan lost, America sent 10 more into the skies. The American supply chains became lifelines, stretching across oceans, feeding entire armies. Even allies like Britain and the Soviet Union were sustained by American support through the Lend-Lease program, shipping millions of tons of food, vehicles, and weapons across perilous seas. Without it, the war might have been lost before it began. Behind America's military machine stood leaders who understood both strategy and humanity. Franklin Roosevelt inspired unity with his words. General Dwight Eisenhower orchestrated the greatest amphibious invasion in history. Admiral Chester Nimitz turned the tide of war in the Pacific. General George Patton drove his tanks across Europe like thunder. They were very different men, some soft-spoken, some fierce, but all shared one vision: victory through courage, planning, and persistence. Their leadership gave direction to a million hands and hearts working toward a single goal: the defeat of tyranny. Then came the turning points: Midway, D-Day, and the Battle of the Bulge. Each battle tested America's resolve, and each proved why they were so effective. At Midway, American intelligence cracked Japanese codes, allowing US carriers to ambush the enemy. 4 Japanese carriers sank in a single day, a blow from which Japan never recovered. In Normandy, the Allies stormed the beaches on June 6, 1944. Thousands fell before even reaching the sand, yet wave after wave kept coming. The courage displayed there became eternal. The price was enormous, but the beachhead was secured, and with it, the road to Berlin opened. Back home, every American family contributed. Children collected scrap metal. Farmers increased production. Women balanced home and factory life. Hollywood made films to raise morale. Propaganda posters reminded citizens, loose lips sink ships. It was a war fought not just on the front lines, but in hearts and homes. The entire nation moved as one, a machine of freedom, fueled by unity. As the war neared its end, the world saw what American effectiveness truly meant. In Europe, Allied troops liberated concentration camps, their eyes filled with horror and disbelief. They understood, then, the full scale of what they had been fighting against. In the Pacific, after years of brutal island warfare, America faced the decision to end the war swiftly or prolong the suffering. The atomic bomb, born from American science and moral torment, forced Japan's surrender. The world entered a new age. When the guns finally fell silent in 1945, America stood not as a conqueror, but as a guardian. Its soldiers came home not with loot, but with lessons. Its factories shifted from weapons to peace. Its leadership shaped a new world order, one built on democracy, recovery, and cooperation. Why were Americans so effective in World War II? Because they fought not for empire, but for ideals. Because they turned fear into unity, and unity into action. Because they transformed the impossible into the inevitable. America's power came not just from its machines, but from its mind, its heart, and its unbreakable spirit. They faced the greatest evil the modern world had ever seen, and they did not flinch. They built, they fought, they bled, and they won. Not for glory, not for dominance, but for the belief that freedom is worth any price. The world changed in those 6 years, but so did America. It discovered what it could do when it stood together. From the ashes of war, a new light rose, the light of courage, innovation, and hope. And though time has passed, that light still burns, a reminder that when the world needed heroes, they answered. Because when America finally woke, it didn't just fight a war. It changed the course of history forever.